This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, it does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. We are broadcasting on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday, June the 24th, from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. And coming across that multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes, getting to do all the fun stuff we get to do, no doubt about that, going into that multiverse of ours, because, hey, why would we not be doing that? That's kind of maybe the other question to be asking around. So anyways, how have you been? How's the last 24 hours or so been treating you? Hopefully it's been a grandioso time as you've been hanging out, doing the stuff you get to do, no doubt about that, inside of the multiverse, of course. Anyways, things on this end have been quite fantastic, so thanks for asking and wondering what exactly is going on. So if you're new here, let's explain exactly what we do, and if you're coming back again because you've been here before, thanks for coming back, but let me explain this to the noobs. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's just kind of what we do. We talk a little bit about everything that's going on inside of the multiverse, and then we kind of move forward. We break it down. We go through the whole aspect of everything that's going on. Not an issue whatsoever in regards to going over that stuff. But we do bring in some professional podcasters that are actually telling us what exactly is going on inside of the news stories. We give you a level of a main story towards the middle of the show, and then you can interact with the show throughout the whole thing if you want to do that. You can go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you go there, audio, video, and text messaging are the options. Audio, video, and text messaging are the options once you get there. I get a little prompt on the screen. I know what to do, and then go from there. Right now, this is actually being broadcast across Safety FM, Radio Big, Live 365. We are also on iHeartRadio. So we're coming across the multiverse of things. And then we have some video streams going on at the same time, too. Facebook, LinkedIn, Rumble, Twitch, you name it, we're kind of there type of thing. But here's the funny part. You can also go to the visual radio side on the radio station. If you go to the radio station, click on visual radio, we're actually right there. And if you're not catching us in real time, it's okay. If you want to see the video, which I don't understand why you'd want to do that, but we'll leave that for a different day. Our new version of the podcatchers, a good chunk of them, are doing video now. So all you have to do is click from the audio and go into the video, and that's it. That's kind of what we do. A lot of people have that question of, well, why do you talk about other things outside of safety? Well, I always looked at it from this particular standpoint. You have to be able to discuss other information to be able to move forward, besides just talking straight about safety. I am just saying, some people don't love that, but that's perfectly fine. But that's kind of how it's worked out for me in this little multiverse of ours. So with that being said, I do have my friends from Feature Story News ready to go. They're wanting to talk about what the hell's going on inside of the news cycle. I'm wanting to take a listen to what the hell's going on inside of the news cycles because, hey, I get here and I want to find out as well as you do on what's exactly going on. So let's go ahead and get into the news right now on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Ishan Garg. The United States Senate has voted to approve a war powers resolution directing U.S. President Donald Trump to withdraw American forces from the conflict with Iran. The first time such a measure has passed both chambers of Congress. The White House has dismissed the vote as having no legal significance, but 4 Republican senators broke ranks to support the resolution alongside Democrats. Mitch McCann reports from New York.
It's ineffective in the sense that it's not something that's been or going to be enforced by law. In fact, the Republican Senator Jim Risch, who is also the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, said this evening that whatever happens with this, it's going to have no effect. And he said Mr. Trump will not pay any attention to it. At the same time, it could be politically effective in building more pressure on the administration. It also illustrates, I think, that members of Donald Trump's own party are becoming less afraid to push back and defy his wishes. Now, this memorandum of understanding has certainly left some Republicans unhappy in recent days. One said that President Reagan would be rolling in his grave.
A Taliban delegation has held talks with European Commission officials in Brussels, the first such visit since the group seized power in Afghanistan 5 years ago. The trip has drawn sharp criticism from human rights groups, with Amnesty International staging a protest outside the European Commission building, displaying a banner reading "Shame." Germany remains the only European country to have accepted diplomatic appointments from the Taliban government. William Denslow has more from Brussels.
Taliban spokesperson described it as a historic meeting. They say they hope to build positive momentum when it comes to opening up more consular services across Europe. It's at this moment in time, it's only Germany that have really accepted diplomatic appointments from the Taliban since they took power again in Afghanistan some 5 years ago.
Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has arrived in Pakistani capital Islamabad for a state visit, his first trip abroad since the United States and Israel launched strikes on Iran in February. Hira Mustafa in Islamabad says the Iranian president's talks with Pakistani leaders will focus on the next phase of nuclear negotiations as well as bilateral economic ties.
He will be having one-on-one talk with the Pakistani civilian leadership. That includes Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar, as well as Pakistan's President Asif Ali Zardari. And according to the experts, the talks are going to be focused on the technical level talks that are going to take place or continue in the coming days with regards to Iran's nuclear program. Apart from this, both the leadership of both the countries are going to have discussions on strengthening the bilateral cooperation between the two countries in economy, trade and regional connectivity.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, with more today on the 10th anniversary of Britain's fateful decision to pull out of the European Union. It cost then Prime Minister David Cameron his job, and since then, as you know, there have been 6 Prime Ministers in a decade, with Andy Burnham hotly tipped to become the 7th in a few weeks' time. Majorities of British voters now favour returning to the EU, but Anand Menon, Professor of European Politics at King's College in London and Director of the UK in a Changing Europe think tank, says it's not that simple.
We can stay where we are, we can weaken our relationship still further, we can go a bit further by signing up to a customs union, we can join the single market, or we could go full-fledged rejoin. The problem, I think, with this menu is that everything on it is going to make us feel sick in some way or another. Sick economically, because we retain our autonomy with the cost of market access we've been talking about, okay? Or it might make us feel a bit sick politically, because in order to address that economic impact, we sacrifice a degree of political control, either by joining the single market, which will make us rule takers across the board, or by going through what I'm sure will be a long, difficult negotiation to ultimately rejoin, with heaven knows what consequences for our politics at home.
Over the last decade, Brexit has hit the UK economy to the tune of around 6%. But backers of the Leave campaign say unexpected events like COVID and the wars on Ukraine and Iran must bear some of the blame. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
FSN is an independent source of news for TV, radio and digital networks worldwide. You can find more of our minute-by-minute updates on Twitter. Follow us there at Feature Story. And we have a wealth of audio and video stories from our global news bureaus on Facebook. You can find us there by following Feature Story News. Stay tuned for further updates right here, but for now, that is the latest Feature Story News. Ishan Garg reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday and going through all of the multiverse of things that we get to talk about today. No doubt about that as we are talking. So there you go. A lot of stuff to discuss here. Oh, yeah, I was supposed to give you this.
We're halfway through the week, and your speakers, they're about to earn their paycheck.
Okay, so there you go. They're definitely earning something as we are talking. So let's get into some weird stuff because I kind of feel like we should have a weird day because it is Whip 'em Out Wednesday, midweek hump day.
Whatever you want to call it.
You know, it's those things that are going on. No doubt about that. So take a listen to this. A man in Australia has shattered the Guinness World Record for the loudest human yell. 58-year-old honorary town crier Joseph McGilly-Bedup reached 122.4 decibel while shouting the word now, breaking the record that had stood since 1994. The previous mark was 121.7 decibels and was set by Northern Ireland teacher. Let's see. The fittingly yelled the word quiet. For perspective, McGilly-Bedup's scream was about as loud as a chainsaw, a jet taking off, or a nearby ambulance siren. He said that he couldn't really practice because the attempts wrecked his voice, adding that it took 7 tries to set the record and left him hoarse for days. His prize, a Guinness World Record, and probably never having to repeat himself. So take a listen to this.
There's no way that you can actually practice for it. You have to just keep it for the day. Especially with the world record attempt. It took me 7 attempts just for one word, which was the word now, and my voice was shot for the next couple of days as well. It was husky. It was terrible. My lords, my ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Canberra.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, I definitely would not want that around. Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. No doubt about that. So Burger King's own president says their own menu item he refuses to eat. The chicken nuggets, Tom Curtis admitted that the nuggets just aren't good enough, saying that we can do better, and we will. He says customers have flooded Burger King's feedback line with complaints, and he agrees. Curtis wants the new nuggets to be meatier, crispier, and paired with sauces that make my taste buds dance. Okay. The chain is now working on a revamped version, although there's no word yet on when the improved nuggets will hit the restaurant. So even the CEO is saying, I'll have a Whopper. Take a listen to this.
I've been talking to a lot of guests, and the feedback on the nuggets is frankly not good.
The chicken nuggets, guys, I'm disappointed.
When they're fresh, they're fine, but you don't always know.
They can get extremely soggy. In the 90s, you guys used to have the best chicken nuggets in the game.
As someone who grew up eating nuggets, I think we have a lot of opportunity for improvement here.
Good, that's good to hear.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, when you're blasting yourself out there and putting yourself on display like that and saying, hey, I am willing to say
our food sucks.
I mean, it's kind of a brave statement. It's one of those things that, hey, you're willing to do it, so I get it. It makes sense to me in regards to talking about it. No doubt there. Okay, so let's do this real quick, if you do not mind. Let's go ahead and go down this multiverse of things. Let's talk about this. I don't know if you've heard this, but we're going to talk about it anyways. Chad Caruso, apparently it's just Guinness World Record Day, has broken his own Guinness World Record by skateboarding more than 3,000 miles across the United States in just 39 days. Caruso rolled from Venice Beach, California to Jacksonville, Florida, averaging 72 miles a day. He smashed his previous record set in 2023 when he completed the coast-to-coast skateboarding trip in just over 57 days. The journey meant more than just another world record. Caruso says that the ride celebrated 10 years of sobriety and highlighted the positive roles skateboarding played in helping him rebuild his life after addiction. Along the way, he also raised money for the Natural High, a nonprofit that encourages young people to stay active and avoid drugs and alcohol. Meanwhile, my smartwatch congratulates me for walking to the mailbox. So there's something to think about. Here's what Chad had to say.
So the whole thing was just this constant facing of the hardest day of my life and barging into the unknown. It actually started with an idea to do it across Italy a while ago, which is much thinner. And ended up not doing it. And then the idea stuck in my head and I started researching. And I saw nobody had really done it for the Guinness record. And then that's what hooked me initially. I basically wake up and try to skate by 4:30 in the morning and finish by like 7 at night. So I do 12 to 16 hours a day with no days off. And I probably do about, I think I average like 72 miles a day through the whole trip. People would just hand me water bottles or food, money, donations, live. They would just hand it to me there. I mean, in the hundreds. America taught me that everyone has a huge heart and wants to be nice and there for each other. You know, and if you come to a situation with a positive attitude or a smile, that's most likely what you'll get back.
There you go. Some PMA right there in action. That's a positive mental attitude in case you did not know that. But congratulations to Chad for pulling that off because, man, 72 miles a day. Some people might say, hey, that doesn't sound like a lot. But I'm going to tell you, on a skateboard, I can't even fathom that. And deciding to say, hey, I'm going to go across America and do some things there. That's definitely one of those different style things, and I like it. I like where we're going with this. Okay, so let's start talking about some serious news stories because we need to do that because we are in the business of being serious. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't know why we would be in the business of being serious, but we can say that. So take a listen to this real quick. Savannah Guthrie fought back tears on the Today Show as she made an emotional plea for help in finding her missing mother, Nancy, who disappeared from her Tucson, Arizona home on January the 31st. The emotional moment came after the new details emerged about the 2 ransom notes that her family received in February. One note reportedly claimed that Nancy had died, but investigators have not confirmed its authenticity or whether it was connected to her disappearance. Guthrie told the viewers that she normally doesn't participate in the show's coverage of the case, but felt compelled to speak directly to the audience. She pleaded for anyone with information, no matter how small, to come forward, saying that her family has been living in agony every day since her mother's disappearance. She said that she tries to find joy while hosting the show, but admitted that the uncertainty has been overwhelming for her, her siblings, and their extended family. Guthrie emphasized that anonymous tips are welcome and urged anyone who knows something to do the right thing. Here's what she had to say.
I wanted to just take the opportunity to ask people to beg people to come forward. Somebody knows something. And this is a news story today that is on your radar, but this is the life that my sister lives, that I live, that my brother lives, that our extended families live, that our children live every day. And we are in agony. And we cannot be at peace. So no matter how much I try to come out here every day and smile and find that joy, and I will, I promise I will. This is a moment to tell you that we need your help. We're begging for your help. And I'm not going to miss that opportunity. And so please, if you're watching, yes, no matter how small, the reward is there. You can tell us. It can be anonymous. Please do the right thing for us, for our family, for our children. And we love our mom, and we'll never stop looking for her. Never.
I can't even fathom that. Like, I listen to that news story, and I go, I can't even imagine listening to a news story about what exactly is going on, and you're living that in real time, and still have to, let's just be realistic, pretend that you're happy-go-lucky for the most part in a show that's going on. Just can't even imagine how you even go through something like that. That is for sure. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world. So let's talk about this one because this one definitely got interesting. Bode Miller, one of the most decorated alpine skiers in the U.S. history, was arrested earlier this month in Idaho on a misdemeanor drug charges. Court records show that the 48-year-old was arrested on June the 6th, charged with possession of a controlled substance, possession of a drug paraphernalia. He was released after posting a $5,000 cash bond and has pleaded not guilty on both charges. The pretrial hearing is scheduled for July the 29th. The arrest came just days before the 8th anniversary of the tragic drowning death of Miller's 19-month-old daughter, who died after wandering into the neighbor's swimming pool in 2018. Since then, Miller and his wife, Morgan Miller, have become outspoken advocates for water safety and drowning prevention. Miller won 6 Olympic medals during his skiing career, including a gold medal at the 2010 Winter Olympics before retiring in 2017. The case remains active and authorities have not released additional details about the circumstances surrounding his arrest. So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. Okay, so take a listen to this because things are definitely getting interesting. Rand Paul has subpoenaed Anthony Fauci after Fauci declined to voluntarily testify at the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee about the COVID origins. Paul says that Fauci had previously agreed to appear, but later backed out, prompting a subpoena. The senators expect Fauci to testify in July as part of the Committee of Ongoing Investigation. The move is the latest chapter in the years-long feud between the two men. Paul has repeatedly accused Fauci of misleading Congress about U.S. funding connected to the coronavirus. Research in China has argued that Fauci should face legal consequences. Fauci has consistently denied those allegations, although Fauci received a broad presidential pardon from President Biden covering potential federal offenses dating back to 2014. Paul says that he will continue investigating, and he calls the unanswered questions about the pandemic origins. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. Okay, let's continue talking about some other stuff that is going on. ESPN NFL draft analyst Matt Miller says that he's lucky to be alive after a devastating car crash in rural Missouri on June the 17th. Miller suffered a multiple broken bones, broken ribs, and underwent life-saving amputation of his left arm after his Ford Bronco crossed the center line and collided with a semi-truck. The truck driver was not injured. The 42-year-old who joined ESPN in 2021 thanked the first responder, doctors, nurses, and fans for their support, saying that he's focused on the recovery. Despite the long road ahead, Miller says that he's determined to return to ESPN and is already looking forward to talking about football again, including the 2027 NFL draft. ESPN says that they're standing behind Miller and wishes him a full recovery. So there you go. There you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. So let's talk about a few more things because we definitely got them. A group of California drivers has filed a proposed class action lawsuit claiming that several major gas station operators, including BP, Circle K, Marathon, 7-Eleven, Walmart, and Albertsons used AI pricing software to keep gas prices artificially high. The lawsuit alleges that software companies calibrate, analyze competitors' pricing and recommendation pump prices that reduce competition, adding as much as 30 cents per gallon in some areas. California already has the highest average gas price in the nation, with drivers currently paying around $5.58 a gallon, in some stations topping off at $7. The lawsuit argues the practice violates California's new law banning pricing algorithms that use competitors' data to influence prices. The drivers are seeking damages, claiming that consumers have been forced to pay inflated prices at more than 1,700 gas stations in the state. Now, I'm going to tell you, this whole thing about algorithms and pricing, this is not very uncommon. I just think that people are more like getting into it now. I will tell you, when I used to work retail many years ago, there was a person that they would send around going to other places to get the competitor prices for they could go back into our place and match the prices from their competitors. So now they're just using a computer system to do the same shit, if you just kind of think about it for a moment. Okay, let's continue talking about some other things. Bill Gates acknowledged during a closed-door congressional testimony that he had extramarital affairs with 3 women, including a medical entrepreneur, Alice Jacobs, and a Russian nuclear scientist. The newly released transcript shows that Gates testified that he told his then wife Melinda French Gates about the relationships years before their 2021 divorce. The House Oversight Committee hearing focused on Gates' relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Gates reiterated that he regrets the friendship and wishes that they had never met. Lawmakers questioned him about the emails involving Epstein, his former advisors Boris Nikolic, and one of the women Gates admitted having an affair with. Gates denied Epstein's ever blackmailed him, although he testified that some emails suggested Epstein may have been considering it. The testimony also includes personal questions about Gates' health after committee members referenced the emails allegedly about the writing of Epstein. Gates denied ever having sexual transmitted disease, denied asking anyone to secretly give him medication to Melinda, and rejected the claims that had any information about that inside of the emails. So there you go. A lot of stuff to think about as we are talking. Okay, so take a listen to this. The Senate approved a war resolution calling President Trump to either end the U.S. military action against Iran or seek formal authorization from Congress. The measure passed 50-48, making it the first time the Senate has approved such resolution after several previous attempts. While the resolution is largely symbolic and does not carry a full force of the law, it reflects the growing bipartisan concerns over the U.S. involvement in the conflict. 4 Republican senators joined Democrats in supporting the measure, while Democratic Senator John Fetterman voted against it. The vote comes as the Pentagon is requesting $80 billion with a B dollars from Congress. Such of it is tied to the Iran conflict, and as the Trump administration continues negotiating with Iran over the nuclear program, some Republicans have voiced concerns over the proposed agreement, particularly the reported $300 billion in the reconstruction fund of Iran, arguing that it is too costly. Meanwhile, President Trump is expected to meet with Senate Republicans as the debate over the phase of the U.S. involvement continues. So what do you think here? I mean, it's interesting. I'm not going to say that it's not, but it gets weird right away. So what are you thinking here? It's one of those things that we continue to give a look at, give some consideration to, and go, man, are things getting weird right away? So there you go. Just some things to give some consideration to. There you go. Some things that you would have not thought that this would have been the case of things happening. So there you go. I am looking at this and going, hey, where do we go from here? So let's do this, because I think it's time to do so. And I've been kind of contemplating on if we should do this or not do this. And I look at it and go, we should, because it's definitely an interesting topic. So let's do this real quick. Let's go ahead and get into our main story. Like, seriously, get into our main story. Oh, yeah.
On the Rated R Safety Show.
If I hit the button and I have it muted, you're not going to hear it. So maybe we should do that again. Seriously.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So today we're going to do something out of the ordinary, because why would we not do something out of the ordinary? Have you seen the show? Maybe that's the question that we should be asking. So I normally like to talk about the things that are going on during the main story, because I think it's a lot easier for us to have the conversation. But today we're going to do something a little bit different, opposed to I want you to hear something, because I think it's been interesting to see some of this stuff, or at least hear some of this stuff. So here's a post that occurred last week, towards the end of the week on Instagram, and I thought that it might be interesting for us to take a listen to it together. It is kind of long, so I don't want to lie to you. But let's see how this is going to go with you and I right here. So let's sit back and take a listen together.
Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. work which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic. Now, in support of President Trump's maximum transparency mandate, today, on my final day as Director of National Intelligence, I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions, the virus's lab leak origins, and his role in directing U.S. funding for this dangerous research that caused immeasurable harm and countless lost lives. Now, these documents expose Fauci's direct role in influencing and manipulating IC assessments on COVID-19 and how Fauci lied to Congress in 2024 when under oath he denied knowledge of or participation in discussions with intelligence officials about viral research. We also received testimony from multiple intelligence community whistleblowers who reported retaliation for challenging the intelligence community's manipulation of intelligence on the virus's origins, once again revealing a clear pattern of suppressing dissent, silencing critics, and burying the truth. Dr. Fauci's close relationships with the intelligence community enabled him to assume three key roles that shield him from scrutiny. First, Dr. Fauci funded dangerous gain-of-function coronavirus research linked to big pharma and their pursuit of universal vaccines worth trillions of dollars. Second, Dr. Fauci was the behind-the-scenes advisor who, alongside his hand-picked so-called experts, pushed the intelligence community to endorse a natural animal origin to hide his dangerous gain-of-function research that he funded using taxpayer dollars, all of this in a deliberate attempt to cover up the truth and shift the blame and attention away from Fauci's own actions. Third, Dr. Fauci became the nation's pandemic pundit, and he publicly pushed lies, disinformation, and censorship using every platform available. Now, according to hundreds of reviewed emails, which are included in this release, the intelligence community almost always incorporated Fauci's recommendations. He promoted a fraudulent paper whose publication he helped prompt as legitimate information for intelligence community consideration. Senior analysts praised Dr. Fauci not as a policymaker, but as what they called an unbiased guide to the real coronavirus experts, while deliberately ignoring experts who might dissent from Fauci's narratives. Now, Fauci didn't stop there. He blatantly lied to Congress under oath during his 2024 testimony to the House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic, denying that he ever spoke to any intelligence agency about COVID. Now, the correspondence I'm releasing today directly contradicts his sworn testimony. Now, we received statements from multiple whistleblowers revealing that the intelligence analysts who dared to challenge Dr. Fauci's COVID origin conclusions faced threats of retaliation, marginalization, and many suffered career setbacks. For example, a contractor was terminated just days after coming forward to ODNI as a whistleblower. Another example, those who advocated for the lab leak hypothesis or expressed dissenting views were reminded by their managers that leadership would determine which analysts would be promoted and which would not. The message was clear: go along or be punished. Senior leaders also sought to undermine whistleblowers by removing anonymity, which is required in the whistleblower process, as they made their complaints, and also insisting that their managers or attorneys be present during ODNI meetings where these whistleblowers were coming forward with their testimony, obviously creating an atmosphere of intimidation. The COVID pandemic caused tremendous hardship and pain for millions of our fellow Americans and countless people around the world. Now, after years of lies and censorship and cover-ups, the American people deserve transparency, truth, and accountability. The tactics that were used to hide the truth are straight from the deep state playbook. Politicized self-serving leaders like Dr. Fauci covered up their own wrongdoing and abuses of power, manipulated intelligence, lied to Congress, and undermined a duly elected president by restricting his access to the vital facts he needed to keep the country safe. It's time you know the truth.
Okay, so that is the video that she released last week, about 4 days ago, give or take. She does reference to go to odni.gov in regards of this. Now, here's my question for you, because this is how we do this stuff around here. You kind of know this already if you hung out here before. We want to give you the information coming from the source in regards of what she's saying. So as she does explain here, and part of the post that you probably did not see because depending on where you're hanging out, it says this as the caption around the video. Yesterday was my final day as the Director of National Intelligence. I released never-before-seen communication documents exposing how Dr. Fauci provided millions of U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research of the Wuhan lab, worked with a politicized elements within the intelligence community to suppress the truth of his actions and hide the virus lab leak origins. He lied to Congress while under oath in 2024. It's time for you to know the truth, so go to odni.gov to see it for yourself. So there you go. I am giving you the other side of the equation. Now, is this a political move on the last day that she's there? Or is this something that she was doing research for quite a period of time before this got released? Now, I do not know. I do not know, Tulsi, in regards of anything. But I figured that we should share the information because it is making news stories. It is making the rounds. So I wanted you to get the whole clip, not a portion of the clip of what exactly she said on her last day. So with that being said, what's your thought process behind this one? That's going to always be the question that one will need to ask in regards of what's going on. In reality, the way that it always works is that you need to make the determination on is she telling the truth or not. You need to be the one that actually does your own research to figure this out. I'm just a guy who's sitting here with a microphone talking about the shit that I get to look at.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth. through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Tell me something I don't know. I've got nowhere to go. So come on down if you are feeling low. Left a message on the phone. Lights on, but no one's home. I am only made of flesh and bone.
Okay, here we go. 46 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Whip About Wednesday. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse, no doubt about that. So this right here that you're taking a listen to, this is Smacked Youth. It's the name of the band. This is Hyperstatic. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. We're giving it a little streamer-eamer action if you don't mind at some point today. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on here, no doubt about that one. So there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go, yeah. So we would like to thank Smacked Youth for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt about that, as we get to do our thing and get to play some new music, which I thoroughly enjoy, just in case you were not aware of that. So there you go. Anyways, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you
in my lifetime.
And that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And we want you to know that things can get better. Healing is possible. So there you go. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you're going to see information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. That is for sure. I'm going to tell you, you go there, there's some things that can change for you by just going to that website and getting information. Let's say you're playing around, looking around, messing around on the website. There's even ways on how to get involved in events that are coming up. And if you need something immediately, even self-care. Like if I was just telling you about things that are going on today with To Write Love on Her Arms, virtual good company gathering peer support groups. That's taking place today. It's a virtual event. That's happening today. It's also, there's a version of it also happening on the 28th, just to reference that. So there you go. Some things to talk about. No doubt about that. So TWLOHA.com to write love on her arms. Okay, let me tell you about this thing that we have coming up in Orlando. Yeah, this is not a virtual event. This is an in-person event taking place. We're calling it Reality Shift, an observational symposium live and in person here in Orlando, happening at the Aloma Cinema Grill. For you to find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io or scan the little barcode that's on the screen. What's going to be happening that day? Well, we'll be hanging out inside of a movie theater. Not a joke as I say that. We'll have Nick Weatherly there talking about behavior-based safety. Todd Conklin will be there talking about human and organizational performance. And then we'll watch a level of a documentary. No, not a joke. We're actually going to watch a documentary. It's definitely going to throw some people off, no doubt about that. We'll do that, and then I'll come out and talk about some signal stuff towards the end there. So I'd love for you to come hang out July the 13th. Why are we doing it on a Monday? This way you can hang out in Orlando if you're not here in this general area. Yeah, you know, have a nice little weekend here or something along those lines, that's for sure. So with that being said, safetyfm.io or scan the little QR code, and that will get you moving and grooving. No doubt about that. Anyways, I got John Small waiting in the wing wanting to talk about the Motivation Minute. So let's do that right now.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Eric. Venus Williams said, "You have to believe in yourself when no one else does. That makes you a winner," right there. I love this. I watched the movie about their family a few years ago, King Richard. It showed the determination of Richard Williams, the father of Venus and Serena Williams and several other children. But the whole world knows these two because they are a few of the best tennis players on the planet. Their father was a driving force to help them reach the top of their game. When other kids were watching TV, they were playing tennis. When other kids were taking the summer to play with friends and go to the pool, they were playing tennis. If you wonder what it takes to be the very best, I encourage you to see this movie. It's not easy and it's probably not always fun, but they put in the time and the effort to become the champions they are today.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Russian officials signaled renewed willingness to restart peace negotiations with Ukraine, raising cautious hopes for diplomacy after months of grinding battlefield losses.
On Monday, Moscow said talks could resume from earlier frameworks discussed during past meetings. Ukrainian leaders have not accepted key Russian demands, leaving major obstacles before any formal breakthrough. Chris Anderson reporting.
Federal agencies are accelerating plans to expand artificial intelligence tools for national security and government operations.
Officials said new programs will support intelligence analysis, cybersecurity efforts, and military planning. The moves come as policymakers debate safeguards designed to prevent misuse of emerging technology. Kevin Sanders reporting.
North Korea renewed warnings about military readiness, adding pressure across a region already watching several international security flashpoints unfold closely.
State media reported new statements emphasizing combat preparedness and defense capabilities. Neighboring countries continue monitoring developments as diplomatic efforts remain limited and tensions stay elevated. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Communities in parts of the country are watching weather conditions closely as emergency officials track ongoing risks from heat and storms.
Forecasters warned that changing conditions could affect travel and outdoor activities in several regions. Local agencies remain prepared to issue alerts if threats increase during the week. Liam White reporting.
A deadly explosion at one of Qatar's largest gas facilities has drawn global attention after workers were killed during operations.
Authorities said 13 people died and dozens were hurt when an accident struck the Ras Laffan complex. Investigators are examining the cause while energy exports continue without major disruption. Gary Beck reporting.
Fresh violence and tense diplomacy continue across Lebanon as international officials work to preserve a fragile calm along the border.
Israeli forces reported targeting suspected militants in southern Lebanon on Monday. Lebanese leaders are pressing for stronger ceasefire monitoring, while regional talks seek to prevent wider conflict. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Officials across several states are preparing for primary elections that could shape key races heading into the midterm season.
Election administrators reported steady preparations for voting scheduled later this week. Results may influence campaign strategies and fundraising efforts during the months ahead. Kyle Norris reporting.
The Supreme Court issued major rulings on immigration and other federal disputes, creating immediate legal and political reactions nationwide.
Several decisions favored administration policies, including expanded fast-track deportation procedures in certain cases. Legal challenges are expected to continue as lower courts interpret the scope of the rulings. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Pop quiz, hotshot. During a heat wave, what's more important, air conditioning or air guitar? Is it air conditioning? Air guitar. The answer is always air guitar.
Of course, the answer is always Garrett guitar. No doubt about that as we are talking. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. In 1817, the first coffee planted in Hawaii on Kona Coast. Yeah, that was back in 1817. What else? In 1939, Pan Am's first U.S. to England flight occurs. In 1961, Beatles record If You Love Me, Baby. In 1977, IRS reveals that Jimmy Carter paid no taxes in 1976. In 1986, the U.S. Senate approves tax reform. In 2006, Pirates of the Caribbean and Dead Man's Chest, directed by Gore Verbinski, starring Johnny Depp, Keira Knightley, and Orlando Bloom, premieres at Disneyland, becomes the fastest film to gross over $1 billion. And in 2021, residential tower Chaplin Tower South collapses at 1:30 a.m. in Surfside Beach, Florida. Or Miami Beach, better say, Surfside, Miami Beach. With 156 people missing, 98 bodies are eventually recovered. So there you go. That's some things that happen all back on this date. If we're taking a look at celebrity birthdays that are going on today, Michelle Lee turns 84. Mick Fleetwood, yeah, that Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac, turns 79. Kurt Smith turns 65. Mindy Kaling turns 47. And Solange Knowles turns 40 today. So there you go. That's some birthday information for you. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know, because this always seems important. Tonight's Powerball jackpot is for $327 million. Here is last night's winning Mega Million numbers. The jackpot was for $467 million. It was 48, 51, 60, 63, 66, and the Mega Ball was 20. Take a listen to this. Federal air marshals have confiscated more than 300 drones during the FIFA World Cup events across the United States. The Transportation Security Administration says the seizures were made in coordination in the state and federal law enforcement, but it breaks down now how many drones have taken each city, the 11 city hosts so far. The crackdown comes as the officials continue enforcing no-fly zones around the stadium and other World Cup venues to protect the players and fans' airspace, better saying. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so as we talk about the world of music and entertainment. If you don't want to go over there, you can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. If I can leave you with some words of wisdom for today, try this. Live in the sunshine, swim in the sea, and drink the wild air. Yep, I did say that. And if you need some words of advice for today, keep a not-to-do list. Eliminate habits that waste time, like endless scrolling or unnecessary meetings. Some things to think about. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios. as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.